Ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk to you today about something that most people run from, something that many of us are terrified of: failure. Now, we've all been taught to avoid failure, to make it look like a dirty word, to shy away from anything that might bring it into our lives. But let me tell you something: failure is not your enemy. It's your greatest teacher. If you're not failing, you're not pushing hard enough. If you're not stumbling, you're not growing. Success isn't just a straight line from point A to point B. No. Success is messy. It's full of setbacks. It's full of heartbreaks. It's full of lessons. And every time you fail, you're one step closer to becoming the person you're meant to be. Let's get something straight: failure isn't final. It's not the end of the road. You are not defined by your setbacks, but by your response to them. Think about this: every person that has ever achieved anything great has failed, sometimes miserably. Every single one. They've fallen, gotten back up, and learned from the experience. And you know what? They used their failures as fuel. They said that wasn't the end, that was just a part of the journey. You see, failure teaches you things that success never could. It teaches you humility. It teaches you persistence. It teaches you resilience. It teaches you who you really are. When you fail, you find out what you're made of. You find out if you have the guts to keep going when everything inside you is telling you to quit. But here's the thing: you have to embrace it. Don't shy away from failure. Don't let the fear of failing stop you from going after what you truly want. When you fall, get back up, dust yourself off, and try again. And then you try again, and again, and again. Because with every try, you're learning, you're growing, and you're moving closer to the success you deserve. Look, failure doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're strong enough to face your challenges head on. The stronger the struggle, the sweeter the victory. Don't let anyone tell you that failure is something to be ashamed of. The greatest people in history weren't the ones who never failed, they were the ones who never stopped trying. So next time you face failure, don't be afraid. Embrace it. Let it shape you. Let it build you. Let it teach you. And when you come out on the other side, you'll be stronger, wiser, and better equipped to face whatever comes your way. Failure is not a roadblock, it's a stepping stone. It's not the end of your story, it's the beginning of something even greater. Failure is often misunderstood. We are taught from an early age that failure is something to be avoided, something that carries a stigma of weakness and inability. In our society, success is celebrated while failure is hidden away, shamed, and dismissed. But failure in its purest form is not an enemy. It is, in fact, one of the greatest teachers you could ever have. It is a process, a catalyst, and an opportunity for growth that cannot be replicated through success alone. Think about it. How many times have you encountered a challenge, faced something new or difficult, and feared the possibility of failure? We all have. It is a natural response to want to avoid failure, to run from it, and seek only the comfort of success. But here's the truth that many people overlook: success does not teach you nearly as much as failure does. When we succeed, everything seems to fall into place. The path is clear, the outcome is predictable, and our confidence grows. But we don't learn about resilience, patience, or perseverance when things go well. We don't develop a deep understanding of our limits or learn how to break through barriers. Success is easy to celebrate, but it often doesn't reveal the depth of who we are. It's when we fail that we are forced to confront ourselves, our weaknesses, and our true potential. Failure provides the perfect environment for growth. When you fail, you're forced to stop, reflect, and evaluate what went wrong. It's not about beating yourself up, but about learning and reassessing your strategy. You don't learn how to swim by reading about it or watching others do it. You learn by getting into the water, by making mistakes, and by adjusting your strokes until you can stay afloat. In the same way, failure forces you to get your hands dirty. It brings you face to face with the things you need to improve, and if you are willing to learn, it can propel you forward in ways that success never could. Failure teaches you to be humble. It's an experience that reminds you that no one is invincible, that no one has all the answers, and that no matter how prepared you think you are, life has a way of throwing curveballs your way. When you succeed, you may feel invincible. You may feel like you've got it all figured out. But failure brings you down to earth. It humbles you and forces you to acknowledge that you are not perfect. It is in that moment of humbling that you can make the choice to learn, to get better, and to keep moving forward. Failure also teaches you perseverance. It challenges your determination, asking you if you are truly willing to keep going when things don't go as planned. It forces you to ask yourself whether you have what it takes to rise again after you've fallen. When everything feels like it's slipping away, failure forces you to dig deeper, to find that inner strength you didn't know you had. It's easy to keep going when things are easy, but when you face failure, that's when you see what you're really made of. It is through these moments of difficulty that we discover resilience, the ability to keep moving forward, no matter how many times we fall. Failure also teaches patience. It reminds you that not everything happens on your timetable and that good things take time. We live in an age of instant gratification, where we expect things to happen quickly and without delay. But failure has a way of slowing us down and forcing us to trust the process. It teaches us that growth is not immediate and that success doesn't happen overnight. When things don't go as planned, failure invites us to pause, reflect, and take the time we need to recalibrate. It teaches us that patience is a key ingredient in the journey to success, and that rushing through the process often leads to more mistakes. Furthermore, failure helps you build resilience. Resilience is the ability to bounce back, to recover from adversity, and to keep moving forward despite setbacks. When you encounter failure, you are given a chance to strengthen this muscle. Every time you get knocked down and get back up, you become more resilient. Every time you face a challenge and refuse to give up, you build the strength to face even greater obstacles in the future. Resilience doesn't come from success, it comes from facing adversity, learning from it, and continuing to move forward. In addition to resilience, failure also teaches creativity and innovation. When you fail, you are forced to think outside the box. You can't keep doing the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. Failure pushes you to be resourceful, to try new approaches, and to find solutions you might never have considered before. It encourages you to ask, what can I do differently? It makes you realize that there are many ways to approach a problem, and sometimes the best ideas come from having no choice but to reinvent the wheel. Failure is also a reminder that success is not linear. Too often we are led to believe that there's a clear, direct path to success. We think that if we follow the rules, put in the work, and stay focused, success will eventually come. But the truth is, the road to success is rarely straightforward. It's filled with twists and turns, detours and roadblocks. Failure is part of that journey, and without it, you wouldn't appreciate the value of success as much. If everything were easy, if every attempt were met with immediate success, we wouldn't grow. We wouldn't learn the valuable lessons that failure provides. The greatest success stories are filled with failure. If you look at anyone who has achieved greatness, you'll find a long list of failures. But they didn't let those failures define them. They didn't let them stop them from continuing the pursuit of their dreams. Instead, they allowed those failures to refine them, to shape them into the people they became. They recognized that failure was not the end, but simply part of the process. It was not a reflection of their worth, but a tool to help them grow. One of the most powerful aspects of failure is that it forces you to confront your fears. Fear of failure is one of the biggest obstacles that holds people back from reaching their full potential. We fear failure because we associate it with loss, disappointment, and humiliation. But failure is not the enemy, it is a necessary part of growth. And once you stop fearing it, once you start to see it for what it truly is, a learning opportunity, you will find that your fears begin to lose their power over you. You will begin to take risks, push boundaries, and step outside your comfort zone, knowing that even if you fail, you are still moving forward. You must understand that failure is not a reflection of your worth or capabilities. It is merely feedback, a stepping stone on the path to success. Every failure contains within it the seeds of growth and progress. When you experience failure, it is not a sign that you are incapable, but a sign that you are challenging yourself, reaching beyond your comfort zone, and striving for something greater. Embrace that struggle, because it is in those moments of discomfort that real growth happens. The fear of failure can be paralyzing, but once you embrace failure as your greatest teacher, you begin to see that it holds the keys to your success. Failure helps you become the person you are meant to be. It shapes your character, sharpens your skills, and strengthens your resolve. So instead of running from it, welcome failure with open arms. Let it teach you, let it guide you, and let it empower you to become the best version of yourself. Because ultimately, failure is not something to be afraid of, it is something to be embraced as one of the most powerful tools in the pursuit of greatness. Let me tell you something. When you stop caring, it drives people crazy. You want to know why? Because people, they thrive on your reactions. They thrive on getting a rise out of you. They want to see you sweat, see you break, see you react to every little thing that's said or done. And when you stop caring, that's when the game changes. Listen to me, you've got to get to a place where what they say, what they think doesn't move you. When you stop caring, you take back your power. They can't control you anymore. They can't push your buttons because you've stopped giving them the privilege to do so. And trust me, that drives people mad. When you stop caring, you free yourself. You're no longer bound by the expectations, the judgments, the criticisms. You start living life on your terms. You start making your own decisions without worrying about how someone else is going to feel. And you know what happens when you stop caring? The world starts to respect you. They start to see you're not here for their drama, their negativity, their nonsense. You're here for your own success, your own peace, your own happiness. And that is a dangerous thing. Now, I'm not saying you don't care about people. I'm not saying you don't care about what's important. But what I am saying is, don't let the opinions of others dictate your life. Stop caring about what they think when it's negative. Stop caring about their limitations when they project them onto you. Stop caring about their doubts when they try to hold you back. Because once you stop caring, you start living. And that drives them crazy. They'll try to figure you out, try to break you down, try to bring you back into their drama, but you'll be too far ahead. You'll be too focused on your own purpose. So keep moving forward and watch how they start losing their minds when they can't control you anymore. In a world filled with constant comparisons and social pressures, it becomes increasingly difficult to focus on one's own path. Whether it's personal achievements, career goals, or even lifestyle choices, the allure of comparing ourselves to others often leads us away from our unique journey. Yet the key to true growth and fulfillment lies in focusing on our own success. Success is a highly individualized concept. What might be success for one person may not hold the same meaning for another. However, there are fundamental principles that can guide anyone toward their own success, helping them stay grounded in their own aspirations and away from distractions. The power of focusing on your own success involves not only recognizing your potential, but also having the discipline to follow through on your own goals without being swayed by external expectations. When people spend too much time comparing themselves to others, they fall into a dangerous trap. The success of others can be inspiring, but it can also be misleading. It is all too easy to look at someone else's achievements and begin to measure your own worth against them. Whether it's a colleague who has advanced in their career or a friend who seems to have the perfect life, these comparisons can lead to feelings of inadequacy, doubt, and insecurity. Everyone has a different set of circumstances, resources, and opportunities, and it is essential to remember that the road to success is not a one-size-fits-all model. The first step in focusing on your own success is to define what success means to you. This may seem simple, but for many people, the notion of success is often influenced by societal expectations or the achievements of others. For instance, in modern society, success is frequently equated with wealth, status, or fame. However, for someone else, success might be measured by personal growth, achieving a work-life balance, or cultivating meaningful relationships. The key here is to reflect deeply on your values, passions, and strengths, and then align your goals with them. Once you understand what you truly want, you can set realistic and personalized goals that resonate with your individual purpose. This process of self-reflection is foundational because without a clear sense of direction, it's easy to lose sight of your unique goals and fall into the trap of pursuing success for the wrong reasons. After setting personal goals, the next step is to cultivate a mindset of discipline and persistence. Success in any form takes hard work and consistent effort. While it is tempting to look at the achievements of others and wish for an easy path, the reality is that success often comes from years of dedication, setbacks, and perseverance. By focusing on your own success, you make a commitment to your personal growth. Whether it's learning a new skill, improving your health, or advancing in your career, achieving success requires that you show up consistently, even when the progress feels slow. It's easy to get discouraged when the results don't come immediately, but maintaining a disciplined approach allows you to stay on track, no matter how long it takes. Another important aspect of focusing on your own success is the ability to embrace failure as a part of the journey. Many people fear failure because it is often seen as a sign of weakness or incompetence. However, the reality is that failure is a critical component of success. Every successful individual has encountered failures, whether in their personal lives or careers. It's not the failure itself that defines us, but how we respond to it. Failure offers valuable lessons that cannot be learned through success alone. It is through our mistakes that we develop resilience, creativity, and adaptability. By reframing failure as an opportunity for growth rather than a setback, we can learn to embrace it as part of the process. Furthermore, focusing on your own success allows you to cultivate self-compassion. It's easy to be critical of ourselves, especially when things aren't going according to plan or when we fall short of our own expectations. However, self-compassion is crucial in staying motivated and moving forward. The way we talk to ourselves has a significant impact on our mindset and well-being. Negative self-talk can paralyze us with fear and doubt, while positive reinforcement encourages us to keep going. By treating ourselves with kindness and understanding, we can build the confidence needed to take risks, overcome obstacles, and ultimately achieve our goals. This self-compassion also helps protect against the damaging effects of comparison. When we focus on our own journey, we acknowledge that our path is different, and that's perfectly okay. There's no need to compete with anyone else when we are focused on creating our own unique success. Another powerful aspect of focusing on your own success is the ability to block out distractions. In today's digital age, distractions are everywhere. Social media, news, and constant messaging can all contribute to a sense of overwhelm and disconnection from our personal goals. While these distractions can sometimes provide short-term entertainment or validation, they often divert our attention from what really matters. When we are constantly bombarded with external noise, it becomes harder to stay focused on our priorities. The key to overcoming this is to consciously limit distractions and allocate time and energy to the things that truly matter. This may mean setting boundaries with technology, saying no to certain commitments, or learning to prioritize your own needs over the demands of others. By minimizing distractions, we free ourselves to put our energy into the things that will actually help us progress toward our goals. In focusing on your own success, it's also important to remember the power of patience. Many people expect instant results, especially in a culture that emphasizes rapid growth and immediate gratification. However, true success takes time to build. Rome was not built in a day, and neither are meaningful achievements. It takes time to acquire new skills, establish solid habits, and achieve long-term goals. Patience enables you to stay grounded and avoid the frustration that can come when things don't happen as quickly as you'd like. Instead of rushing toward the finish line, focusing on your own success means embracing the journey, understanding that every step, no matter how small, is contributing to your overall progress. Another element of focusing on your own success is the ability to embrace the process of continuous improvement. No one is ever truly finished or perfect. Success is not a final destination, but an ongoing process of growth. Even after achieving certain milestones, there will always be more to learn, more to experience, and more to achieve. People who are focused on their own success understand that they are constantly evolving. Whether it's seeking out new knowledge, learning from mistakes, or refining skills, the pursuit of success is a lifelong commitment to growth. This mindset of continuous improvement helps to keep motivation high, as there's always something to strive for. It also fosters a sense of fulfillment because progress, no matter how incremental, is its own reward. Lastly, focusing on your own success allows you to create a life that is authentically yours. When we are constantly measuring ourselves against others, we risk losing sight of our own dreams and desires. We might end up pursuing goals that don't truly resonate with us, simply because they are what others expect or what society dictates. By focusing on your own success, you take control of your narrative. You get to decide what success looks like for you and how you will achieve it. This authenticity brings a sense of purpose and satisfaction that cannot be obtained through external validation. Living in alignment with your true self is one of the most powerful ways to create lasting success. It ensures that the goals you pursue are truly meaningful and that the success you achieve is deeply fulfilling. The journey toward focusing on your own success is not always easy, but it is undoubtedly worth it. By avoiding comparisons, defining your own goals, embracing failure, practicing patience, and cultivating self-compassion, you can stay focused on what truly matters. The road to success is deeply personal, and the more you stay grounded in your own vision, the more likely you are to achieve the success that brings you fulfillment and happiness. Success is not about competing with others, it's about becoming the best version of yourself. And when you focus on your own path, free from distractions and comparisons, you open the door to the kind of success that truly lasts. Failure is a universal experience that everyone encounters at various stages of their lives. It can take many forms, from minor setbacks to devastating failures that seem to shake the very foundation of who we are. In a world that often prizes success above all else, failure is sometimes viewed as a negative event, something to be avoided or feared. However, it is essential to shift our perception of failure and realize that it is not an end, but rather a crucial part of the journey toward growth and achievement. Embracing failure and continuing to move forward is not only possible, but is often the key to long-term success. It teaches resilience, encourages learning, and helps shape our character in ways that success alone cannot. One of the most powerful aspects of failure is its ability to teach us valuable lessons. When we succeed, it can sometimes be easy to overlook the small details that contributed to our success. Success may come with a sense of accomplishment, but it often lacks the depth that failure offers in terms of understanding what went wrong and how to improve. Failure, on the other hand, forces us to confront our mistakes, reflect on our actions, and reevaluate our approach. Each failure carries a lesson that can be used to refine our skills, strategies, and mindset for the future. This process of learning from our missteps is not something to be ashamed of, but something to embrace as an opportunity to grow and improve. Consider the countless stories of famous figures who have encountered failure on their path to success. Thomas Edison, for example, failed thousands of times before successfully inventing the light bulb. Rather than being discouraged by each failure, he saw them as necessary steps toward his goal. He famously stated, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." His ability to embrace failure and keep going was the driving force behind his eventual success. In the same vein, other great innovators like Michael Jordan and Steve Jobs experienced numerous failures throughout their careers but viewed them as part of the journey rather than as reasons to quit. When we face failure, it can often feel like a personal attack on our abilities or worth. It can be easy to become disheartened and believe that we are simply not good enough. This mindset can be particularly damaging if we view failure as a reflection of our identity rather than as a temporary setback. However, it is important to recognize that failure does not define us. It is not a statement about our capabilities, but rather an indication that something in our approach needs adjustment. The key is not to let failure dictate our sense of self-worth, but to see it as a natural part of the learning process. Everyone, no matter how successful, has experienced failure at some point. What sets those who ultimately succeed apart is their ability to keep going, despite the setbacks. Resilience is a vital characteristic that is cultivated through the experience of failure. When we fail and choose to persevere, we develop a sense of inner strength and determination. Each time we rise after falling, we build resilience that makes us more capable of handling future challenges. This resilience is not something that can be developed in a vacuum. It is the result of experiencing adversity and choosing to keep going. The more we fail and recover, the more we learn how to bounce back from difficult situations. Over time, this resilience becomes a powerful tool that can help us navigate the inevitable ups and downs of life. One of the most important aspects of embracing failure is the mindset shift that it requires. Instead of viewing failure as something to be avoided at all costs, we can choose to see it as an opportunity for growth. This mindset allows us to approach challenges with a sense of curiosity rather than fear. Instead of fearing failure, we can view it as a stepping stone toward improvement. When we adopt this perspective, we become more willing to take risks, try new things, and put ourselves in situations where failure is possible. It is this willingness to fail that often leads to the greatest successes, as it opens up opportunities for experimentation and innovation. Furthermore, embracing failure means accepting that it is an inevitable part of any meaningful pursuit. Whether we are striving for personal growth, career advancement, or creative achievement, setbacks are a natural part of the process. No one reaches their goals without encountering obstacles along the way. The key is not to avoid these obstacles, but to develop the resilience and perseverance necessary to overcome them. Rather than seeing failure as a sign that we should quit, we can reframe it as a sign that we are pushing ourselves to our limits and stepping outside our comfort zones. Each failure is a signal that we are growing and evolving, even if it doesn't feel like it in the moment. Another important aspect of embracing failure is the recognition that it often takes us in unexpected directions. Failure can serve as a redirection, guiding us toward new paths and opportunities that we might not have considered otherwise. While failure may initially feel like a roadblock, it often leads to new discoveries and insights that would not have been possible if everything had gone according to plan. Many great breakthroughs and innovations have arisen from moments of failure. For example, the discovery of penicillin by Alexander Fleming was the result of a failed experiment. If he had simply given up after the initial setback, the world might never have experienced this life-saving discovery. Failure can serve as a reminder that there is more than one way to achieve success, and sometimes the detours we take can be even more rewarding than the original path. Failure also fosters humility, an essential trait for both personal and professional growth. When we experience failure, it reminds us that we are not infallible. It helps us recognize our limitations and encourages us to remain open to learning from others. Humility is crucial because it allows us to accept constructive feedback, ask for help when needed, and be receptive to new ideas. When we embrace failure with humility, we are more likely to view it as a chance to improve rather than as a threat to our ego. This openness to growth makes it easier to form meaningful relationships with others and to collaborate in ways that lead to greater success. In the context of personal relationships, failure can also strengthen our connections with others. Sharing our failures with those who care about us can foster empathy and understanding. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable and admit our shortcomings, we create opportunities for deeper connections with others. People who have experienced failure themselves are often the most supportive and encouraging, as they understand the difficulties that come with setbacks. In this way, failure can be a unifying force that helps build a sense of community and mutual support. It is important to note that embracing failure does not mean resigning ourselves to mediocrity or giving up on our goals. Rather, it means acknowledging that setbacks are a natural part of the process and that they do not have to define our ultimate success. Embracing failure involves a commitment to learning from our mistakes, adapting our approach, and continuing to push forward, even when things don't go as planned. It is through this process of trial and error that we develop the skills, mindset, and resilience necessary to achieve our goals. The fear of failure is often what holds us back from pursuing our dreams. We may worry about how others will perceive us or fear the embarrassment of not succeeding. However, the fear of failure can be more damaging than failure itself. When we allow the fear of failing to control us, we limit our potential and prevent ourselves from reaching our full capabilities. In contrast, when we embrace failure and take risks, we open ourselves up to a world of possibilities. Failure is not something to be feared, but something to be embraced as a valuable part of the journey towards success. Ultimately, failure is not an end, but a beginning. It marks a turning point where we have the opportunity to reevaluate our approach, learn from our mistakes, and come back stronger. It teaches us resilience, fosters humility, and helps us grow in ways that success alone cannot. Embracing failure and continuing to move forward is a mindset that allows us to overcome obstacles and achieve our goals no matter how many times we stumble along the way. Each failure is simply a lesson, a stepping stone on the path toward greater success, personal growth, and fulfillment. By embracing failure and persevering in the face of adversity, we open ourselves to the possibility of achieving our greatest potential. Failure is an inevitable part of life, something that everyone experiences in one form or another. Whether in personal pursuits, professional endeavors, or relationships, it can sometimes feel overwhelming and discouraging. However, failure is not the end of the road. Rather, it is an essential component of growth and development. Embracing failure as a learning opportunity and a stepping stone rather than a setback has the power to build strength and character. It is through failure that people often discover their resilience, refine their abilities, and develop a deeper sense of self-awareness. The lessons gleaned from failure are often more valuable than the immediate gratification of success, for it is through overcoming adversity that true strength and character are forged. When we fail, our immediate reaction is often one of disappointment, frustration, or self-doubt. We may feel like we've reached our limit or that our efforts have been in vain, but failure is not a permanent state. It is simply a part of the process that helps to separate those who persevere from those who give up. There is no growth without struggle. In fact, success that comes too easily can often be hollow, for it does not challenge us to stretch our capabilities or explore the depth of our potential. Failure, on the other hand, forces us to confront our weaknesses and limitations. It makes us reflect on what went wrong, what could have been done differently, and what lessons can be learned for the future. These moments of introspection provide us with valuable insights that would otherwise remain hidden in the comfort of constant success. The strength that comes from failure is not simply physical or external, it is internal. Each failure teaches us how to bounce back, how to pick ourselves up when we fall, and how to keep moving forward despite setbacks. The process of facing failure and continuing to push forward builds a type of emotional resilience that cannot be attained without struggle. When we experience failure, we often have to dig deep within ourselves to find the courage to try again. Over time, this repeated effort builds an inner strength that makes us more capable of handling future challenges. Rather than viewing failure as something to fear, we begin to see it as a natural part of the journey that will eventually lead us to greater success. Character is also deeply shaped by failure. Our character is defined by how we respond to adversity and how we learn from our mistakes. People who have experienced failure and have come through it often develop qualities such as patience, perseverance, humility, and empathy. Failure teaches us that success is not guaranteed, that it requires hard work, dedication, and often the ability to cope with setbacks. It helps us develop the maturity to understand that success is not always immediate, and that sometimes the road to achievement is long and difficult. Those who have failed and learned from it are often more compassionate and understanding when others face difficulties. They recognize that everyone experiences setbacks, and they are better equipped to offer encouragement and support because they know what it feels like to struggle. Failure also teaches us the importance of persistence. It is easy to give up when things are not going according to plan, but those who persist through failure often discover untapped potential within themselves. The desire to succeed in the face of adversity fuels determination. Failure might initially discourage us, but the desire to overcome it drives us to work harder, be more creative, and explore new solutions. In this way, failure often serves as a catalyst for innovation and growth. Many of the greatest achievements in history have been the result of people who refused to let failure stop them. Thomas Edison, for example, famously failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. Instead of seeing each failure as a defeat, He viewed them as lessons that brought him closer to success. His persistence in the face of failure eventually led to one of the most important inventions in human history. Moreover, failure can serve as a humbling experience. It teaches us that we are not infallible and that our plans do not always unfold as we expect. It forces us to confront the reality that we are not always in control, and that success requires more than just effort. It also requires timing, circumstances, and sometimes even luck. This awareness of our limitations can help us develop a more grounded and realistic perspective on life. We learn to appreciate our successes not as a result of entitlement, but as the culmination of hard work, perseverance, and sometimes even failure. Failure reminds us that we are human and that perfection is not the standard by which we should measure ourselves or others. Failure helps us build resilience by teaching us how to handle rejection and criticism. No one likes to be told that they are not good enough, but failure often comes with this uncomfortable feedback. It might be a rejection from a job, a missed opportunity, or the realization that a project didn't work out as planned. Initially, this feedback can feel like a blow to our self-esteem, but over time it becomes easier to accept. We begin to recognize that rejection is not a reflection of our worth as individuals, but rather an opportunity to grow. Criticism becomes less of a personal attack and more of a tool for improvement. As we learn to accept failure and the lessons it brings, we develop a greater sense of emotional maturity. We become better equipped to handle criticism in a constructive way, allowing us to grow from it rather than shrink in response. Failure also fosters a sense of gratitude. When we fail, we become more aware of what we took for granted in our previous successes. We learn to appreciate the small victories, the progress we make, and the people who support us along the way. The journey of failure and recovery teaches us to value the process rather than just the outcome. Success, when it finally comes, feels more rewarding because it has been earned through perseverance, hard work, and a willingness to fail. This sense of gratitude extends beyond ourselves as well. We develop a deeper appreciation for the efforts of others who have faced similar challenges and emerged stronger. Failure helps to cultivate a community of people who understand that setbacks are a part of life and who support one another in the pursuit of their goals. In the face of failure, we often discover new strengths and capabilities that we never knew existed. It may not be immediately apparent, but failure brings out qualities in us that help us rise above the situation. Whether it's the strength to keep going when everything seems to be falling apart, or the ability to see the bigger picture when we are stuck in a moment of frustration, failure forces us to dig deep and find resilience within. It is through this process that we uncover the fullness of our potential. We may not always succeed on the first try, but each failure brings us closer to achieving our goals. And with each failure, we grow stronger and more capable of handling whatever challenges life throws our way. In the end, failure is not something to be feared or avoided. It is an essential part of the human experience, and it is through failure that we learn some of life's most important lessons. It teaches us how to be resilient, how to handle adversity, and how to develop the character needed to navigate the ups and downs of life. Failure builds strength by forcing us to face our limitations and grow beyond them. It builds character by shaping the way we respond to challenges and adversity. Rather than seeing failure as a barrier, we should embrace it as an opportunity to learn, grow, and become stronger individuals. Ultimately, it is through failure that we come to understand what it truly means to succeed.